Hello friends, welcome back to a new video on AB coins. Let's get started. The Liberty 1 dime coin is a US dime that has been minted for many years, but a specific one from 1994 is part of a long and rich history. Here's a comprehensive look at its history, design, and geographical significance. The dime is a 10-cent coin in the United States, and its name comes from the Latin word decimus, meaning tenth, as it is 1/10 of a dollar. The coin has been issued by the U.S. Mint since the late 18th century. Over the years, its designs have evolved, but the Liberty Dime, which features the profile of Liberty, is one of the most recognized versions of the coin. The first dime was struck in 1796, during the presidency of George Washington. Initially, the design featured a profile of Liberty with the word Liberty inscribed. These early dimes were minted from silver, marking the start of their history. Over time, the design of the dime changed several times. One of the most iconic series of designs for the dime occurred in the late 1800s and early 1900s, when the Barber Dime, 1892 to 1916, and the Mercury Dime, 1916 to 1945, were issued. The Liberty Dime specifically refers to several versions where Liberty's profile was featured, but it has been most prominently associated with the Mercury Dime design, introduced in 1916 by Adolph A. Weinman. This design featured Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought and action. Despite the coin's official name, it is often called the Mercury Dime, because the cap resembles the Roman god Mercury's winged helmet. By 1946, following World War II, the Franklin Roosevelt dime was introduced, commemorating the late U.S. president after his death in 1945. Roosevelt's likeness has been on the dime ever since, including on the 1994 version. The 1994 Liberty Dime is part of the Roosevelt Dime series, which has been minted continuously from 1946 to the present day. The 1994 coin was minted at several U.S. mint facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, for proof sets. The design for the Roosevelt dime was created by John R. Sinek and was based on a portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away in 1945. The coin was chosen as a tribute to Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. Obverse, front, the coin features a left-facing profile of President Roosevelt, with the inscription Liberty to the left, In God We Trust below, and the date 1994 to the right. Reverse, back, the reverse features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing freedom, peace, and strength. The inscription, United States of America, is on the top, and E pluribus unum is at the bottom. In 1994, the U.S. Mint produced more than 1.6 billion Roosevelt dimes across the various minting facilities. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark, while Denver minted coins marked with a D, and San Francisco produced proof coins marked with an S. The year 1994 was part of the post-Cold War era. The United States was dealing with the aftermath of the Cold War, the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, and the Persian Gulf War of 1990 to 1991. During this time, President Bill Clinton had just begun his first term in office, 1993 to 2001, and the U.S. was navigating both domestic and global challenges. Domestically, the U.S. economy was experiencing growth after a period of recession in the early 1990s. The 1994 Liberty Dime was produced at a time when there was significant optimism about economic recovery. Internationally, the U.S. continued to exert influence in world affairs. The North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, was signed in 1993 and came into effect in 1994, which brought together the economies of Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Coins, like the Liberty 1 dime, have served as more than just currency. They are symbols of a country's values, leaders, and historical moments. For example, the Roosevelt dime commemorates President Franklin D. Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, a time when America needed strong political guidance. The 1994 version of the Roosevelt dime reflects the political and economic optimism of the mid-1990s, a time when the U.S. was entering a new global order after the Cold War. The 1994 Liberty Dime is a testament to both the history of coinage in the United States and the legacy of President Roosevelt. The Roosevelt dime remains one of the longest-running U.S. coin designs and continues to be minted to this day. Collecting the Roosevelt dime is a popular hobby, and coins from specific years, like 1994, are often sought by numismatists. While the coin's value in circulation is still just 10 cents, its historical significance and collectors' demand can make it more valuable in certain conditions. Since the Roosevelt dime has been in continuous circulation, it remains a symbol of American perseverance, strength, and leadership, which was reflected in President Roosevelt's tenure as the country's leader during some of its most difficult times. The Liberty I dime from 1994 is a remarkable piece of U.S. numismatic history. It carries the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt and the long-standing tradition of U.S. coinage. Through its design and symbolism, it reflects the values and historical moments of the mid-20th century and the early 1990s, encapsulating the strength, freedom, and hope that the United States stood for at the time.